Welcome back again on the current news affairs at Germano Media. Today on the 5th of December 2022, the news in English at Germano Media, and then on the standard newspaper, we have our headlines as follows. Budget reveals public debt at over 90 billion. Top lawyer called for full disclosure of buyers of James asset. AG says naming buyers of James asset could infringe on privacy. Senegalese MP Cissé clarifies Gambia ID card comments. And now we have the news in detail. Budget reveals public debt at over 90 billions. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs has told the National Assembly during his 2023 budget speech that the country's public debt now stands at 90.7 billion. According to Minister C.D. Keita, the public debt stock at 90.7 billion as at end of September 2022 compared to 83.8 billion in the same period in 2021, representing a significant rise of about 6.1 billion in 12 months. According to the minister, the increment of the public debt stock is explained by the foreign exchange rate loss on the foreign debt stock and increase in domestic borrowing, amounting to 3.7 billion and 3.2 billion respectively, Minister Keita explained. However, he said the government is still with the domestic borrowing target as approved in the 2022 national budget. He said of the total debt stock in 2022, domestic debt constitutes 39.7 billion, whilst its external debt constitutes 51.0 billion. Also announced a 14.6 billion grant to support the country's 2023 budget. This, he added, is expected to increase along the projection period. He also said the budget support grants will reach 2.9 billion by 2026 from the 2.7 billion expected in 2023. The budget grant, Minister Keita added, will move from 11.8 billion in 2023 to 14.2 billion by 2026. The increment is projected grants reflects the potential new investment project that will support the rapid growth of the economy in the medium term despite the adverse circumstances in the international markets, he added. He also said the 2023 budget support has already been discussed in national development partners and passed the test for inclusion in the budgets. According to the minister, government's expenditure in 2023 is projected to increase from 35.4 billion to 42.8 billion, likely attributed to an anticipated increase in capital expenditure due to the ongoing road projects and salary increment. He said the Ministry of Fisheries has advanced in the preparation of the West African Coastal Area Resilience Investment Program to the tune of 46 million US dollar. The project, he added, is to address coastal erosion, drainage systems, and building resilience of communities in the country. On transitional justice, Minister Keita said the government is committed to the implementation of the white paper and as such will establish the necessary structure for the prosecution of individuals adversely mentioned in the Jammeh-era crimes. He said the National Enterprise Development Initiative, through the funding from International Organization for Migration, has trained 614 migrant attorneys on business development and career guidance across the country. Oil exploration. According to Minister Keita, there are currently 6 open blocks and the goal is to launching this block in order to achieve the strategic policy objective to discover commercial oil deposits. These blocks are being promoted through oil and gas conference, exhibitions and workshops, or through direct engagement with international oil companies or IOSC, he added. Travels to ease government for business and leisure between the Gambia and Senegal, Minister Keita said the Gambia International Airlines, GIA, is intensifying negotiations with the credible airline partners to secure an aircraft that will operate daily flights between the two countries. He said the domestication will significantly reduce airfares and bring more reliability in flight between Banjul and Dakar. He said the Minister of Trade through GAIPA has been able to attract 36.9 million through the special investment certificate and with the potential to create a total of 1,185 jobs. Immigration fees. The Minister of Finance has also announced new immigration fee for non-Gambians, showing massive increment in some areas. According to the minister, the new charges are as follows. Permit A, equals from 1,850 to 3,000. Permit B, equals from 1,850 to 2,500. Permit B, non-equals from 3,100 to 5,000. Alert card from 1,500 to 2,500. Entry visa from 3,000 to 7,000. Entrance clearance from 3,000 to 7,000. Machine readable passport from 1,000 to 3,000. Naturalization for ECOWAS nationals from 5,000 to 25,000 and for non-ECOWAS national from 15,000 to 75,000. But responding to media questions on the increment, Minister Keita said the new tariffs are the cheapest in the sub-region. That was the budget speech by the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mr. C.D. Keita. And now we move to the top lawyer. The top lawyer called for full disclosure of buyers of Jammeh's assets. We can recall that there was a commission of Jammeh Commission that was dealing with the financials and associates of Jammeh's era. And top lawyer called for a full disclosure of buyers of Jammeh's assets. The lawyer Lamin J. Dabo has said that the decision of the government to mask the identities of buyers of former President Jammeh's asset is unlawful. In a long write-up exclusively shared with the Standard, the Gunjur Bond lawyer wrote, "Governance under law must be guarantor of the dignity of every Gambian and of the protection of public property, a philosophy that appears not to have reached the Justice Minister. It was extraordinary that, notwithstanding the asset questions of the professor arose out of an act of parliament at the heart of Gambian public life, the minister erroneously employed privacy as a prophylactic against accountability. As an end Republic of the Gambia on privacy reads, no person shall be subjected to interference with the privacy of his or her home, corresponding or communication except as in accordance with law and is necessary in a domestic society in the interest of national security, public safety or economic well-being of the country, for the protection of health or morals, for the prevention of disorder or crime, or for the protection of the rights and freedoms of others. At the elemental level, the right of privacy is the right of a person to be free from unwarranted publicity, the unwarranted appropriations of exploitation of one, where billions of dollars were lost to the treasury, utilized to advance the public. To avoid conflict of interest, government officers must not be able to sell recovered assets of the professor to themselves or to each other. Writing under the captions, the lawyer requires full disclosure of those who purchased Professor Jammeh's asset. The UK-US trained lawyer added, equally, the role of lawyer and public accountability dictate the members of this particular commission must not be able to purchase anything from the professor's size assets, either for themselves or for family members, as that is an embodiment of conflict of interest. It is therefore necessary for the minister to disclose the identities of all those who made purchases from the professor's assets, given the legitimate public interest in the matter. Without question, the minister was aware that politically, philosophically, and ethically, and even legally, his postulation was wrong-headed. The transaction implicates no legitimate privacy issues. He said the Gambia needs is a system change that liberates holders of public office from themselves. The minister's position is indefensible, and there must be full disclosure of who purchased what and for how much. I am convinced he wouldn't advance such argument outside the government. Barrow administration, Mr. Dabo went on, was founded on the straightforward question of liberty, dignity, and accountability within the rule of law. In short, the failure of governance under law-elected President Adama Barrow in 2016 remains the single issue up for appraisal by the rule of rulers. I hope the minister is not telling Gambians he prefers lawlessness to accountability. And that was the article wrote by a Gambian lawyer for the minister to reveal the names of those who buy assets from Jammeh. And now the AG, Attorney General, says naming buyers of Jammeh assets could infringe what? Privacy. That was a response to the lawyer who said Jammeh assets should be called upon by the Minister of AGP, that is the Minister of Justice, that is to reveal the names of those who buy Jammeh's asset. And now we come to the response from the minister himself, who says that the AG says naming buyers of Jammeh's asset could infringe privacy. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice has informed the National Assembly that government may not reveal names of individuals who bought former President Yahya Jammeh's asset because it could be an infringement of their privacy. He was responding to a question from the NAM for Fonyi Councillor Almami Jiba, who demanded details from the total sales of Jammeh's asset, buyers and price of each asset sold. His question followed rumors that ministers, seniors, civil servants, and private individuals are among buyers of former President Jammeh's asset. Some are at very cheap prices. But in his response, Minister Dara Jallow said the detailed report of properties and their prices is long and I cannot make an oral answer of that, but I can't make the hard copy available to this assembly. However, due to privacy reasons, I don't think we would be able to disclose the names of all buyers, as it may infringe on the private right of some private individuals. He also disclosed that a total of $1,148,997,085 was raised from the sale of about 44 assets. These include land sales, derelict vehicles, and dividends received from forfeited sales. He said, Minister Jallow, however, said not all the properties sold belong to Jammeh, as assets belonging to his close associates were forfeited. The remaining assets, asked how many of Jammeh's assets are left unsold, Minister Jallow said, I don't know the exact number because we are still discovering more assets. So there are a lot of assets that the Jammeh Commission didn't discover, so the discovery is ongoing. So the TRRC response, reacting to a question on the implementation of the TRRC recommendation, Minister Jallow said a training of security service and stakeholders on the forensics in anticipation of the research and exhumations of disappeared persons is in progress. He said a national consultation with victims lead organizations on the development of framework on the drafting of the Victims Reparation Bill is at an advanced stage. The development of a prosecution strategy to guide prosecution of TRRC crimes is completed. Almost all these activities have cost implications, but some are less costly than others. We have also carried out a low-hanging fruit assessment that identified 30 less costly activities for immediate implementation, pending the finalization of adequate resources for full implementation. He added, asked whether the government has received any support to pay reparation, Jallow said, not yet. We will bring to you very soon the victims bill, and that in that bill we intend to set up an agency that will be responsible for reparation, and under it we will create the victim fund. He said after the creation of victim fund, the government will annually put resources in the fund, and then we will invite development partners to support the victim fund, which will be administered independent of the government. And that was the response from the AG, that is the Attorney General. And now we move to the Senegalese MP Cissé's clarified Gambia ID card comment. It could be recalled last week, Mr. Honorable Cissé, a National Assembly member in Senegal, who claimed that Gambian ID card is cheap during election. And now we move to his story. Senegalese MP Cissé clarified demand ID card comment. Senegalese MP Umar Cissé of Bonkoling in the Saudi region of Senegal was last week disclosed that many people in his area have acquired Gambia ID cards. He has reached out of the Standard saying that when to clarify his statement. In a video released last week, Cissé called on the Senegalese authority to devise means for people in his area to acquire special ID card because most of them have acquired Gambian ID cards, which he said is relatively easy to get, especially during election times. He expresses his fear that unless the government help the people of the area with ID cards, they could all become Gambians. His comment drew widespread comment from Gambians from all walks life, including politicians, worried about the various interpretations of his comment. Cissé shared an audio exclusively with the Standard in which he addressed Gambians who may have misconstrued the meaning and objective of his comment. Cissé admitted that he indeed made the statement and apologized to anyone who have found it offensive. It was actually addressing our Minister for Interior who was present. I was telling him that unless they help the people in my area who find it hard to acquire Senegalese ID cards, they may all end up taking Gambians ID card. My people suffered a lot, including traveling to Kolda if they could not find lodgings in Dhaka for applying for ID cards, and I was urging the right authorities to look into that. Otherwise, the people will be compelled to look for ID cards for a place like the Gambia, where it is easier to acquire them and enable them access to service like healthcare. Cissé said at the same event, he had told the authorities about the need for a hospital in the area because all the people there go to Gambia for healthcare. But again, this is all possible because of the cordial and blood relations between the people of the two countries. I personally have very strong links with the Gambia and Gambians. Whatever we organize in Njamakuta, we always invite involve the governor of LRR or in Mansakongo. All this, so we have strong relationship which I want to continue. I want to apologize to all Gambians who may feel offended by what I have said. I have no intention to anger anyone or cause concern of any group in the Gambia, Cissé stressed. He added that he did not make this statement to address or raise any issue about Gambian politics or Senegalese politics, even though he understands that people will naturally link it to politics. That was the response after Honorable Cissé of Senegal to make a statement that the Gambia ID card is cheap to acquire, especially during election. And many Gambians, both national and abroad, take the turn to show their anger about the statement and relate it to the past presidential election where some politicians, accuse or ally the IEC, backing the president to practice fraud election. But then that was the response from the Senegalese MP who made that video that went viral. So if you are just watching, this is Jamano Media TV, and then we thank you for joining us today, and then tomorrow for another edition of the current news. Thank you.